No, I'm not dead. It's just been a busy few weeks, but more about that later. In this video, we're gonna talk about how to manipulate the 3 dimensions of your mix. That is height, width, and depth. Coming up next. Learn audio engineering. Learn audio now. Sound strategies to sound goals. Hey, learn audio engineering. What we have in mixing, in actuality, is 2 speakers. But in theory, we have a 3-dimensional room with a volume that we can fill with all of our different sounds taking up a different location between the speakers. In this lesson, we're gonna learn how to manipulate the height, depth, and width of a mix using common mixing tools. First, let's talk about the height. Imagine that you have different frequency shelves, pockets, or drawers. Imagine this concept as speaker real estate. You've got all of your instruments and they belong in their own space. Determining frequency pockets for each of your instruments will help fit all of the pieces together and let you know when you have too much or when you still have room to grow. What do you mean I can't fit an army of double bass drums into my 6-string bass and 808 symphony? If you're all about that bass, you're in trouble. Knowing where all your instruments live in the frequency spectrum can help you decide how you want to use those instruments to build and develop your arrangement. Maybe save your most memorable melody instrument for the chorus and build the song around that missing piece that will eventually be filled in the chorus. This helps you develop pacing to get the most out of each instrument or sound by introducing them one at a time. When we talk about width, this refers to the pan position between the speakers. We have the left, the center, and the right. And we're talking about the volume balance between these 2 speakers. It can be more on one side or less on the other, or they can be equal. So what's the main focus of the song and what's supporting that focus? Usually the main focus is gonna live up the center with additional melodies coming in from the sides to momentarily move our attention from the center position. In a drum kit, the kick and the snare live up the center, but percussion and cymbals can easily surround those drums on either side. The lead vocals are almost always kept center, if not double tracked and hard panned. Harmonies can be panned to add width to the lead vocal, and guitar solos can be placed off to one side to momentarily move our attention from that center position. Stereo panning can also create a rhythmic interplay or a rhythmic counterpoint between the left and right channels that can add some exciting width with side-to-side motion. For depth, we're mainly talking about volume, but this also has an effect on intensity, fullness, and mono versus stereo. The previous 2 dimensions are much more noticeable when the sound is closer to us. We have a much better understanding of the nuance and timbre and location of the sound. But as the sound moves away, those dimensions begin to blur, distort, and become less clear. And one reason for this is that closer sounds are much louder and they contain more low and high frequencies. As the sound moves further away, its amplitude drops exponentially according to the inverse square law. This drop in energy will also significantly reduce the energy of super high frequencies. And while low frequencies will still project, they're not going to be captured with the same proximity as a close microphone. So for this reason, sounds with less bass and less treble will appear further away. Stereo width will also narrow as the sound moves away because from the listener's perspective, there will be much less difference between the left and the right. The sound now appears to originate from a single location. By better understanding these dimensions and how your tools can control the sound's location within these dimensions, you'll be on the right track to learning how to craft full and balanced mixes that have depth, width, clarity, and character. So what tools can we use to manipulate an instrument's location within the mix? When talking about height, EQ is a great tool for removing excess clutter from congested frequency pockets that require a great deal of clarity like the low end. Using a high-pass filter to remove sub-frequency rumble is a tried and true approach for freeing up some of that space in the subwoofers for the important stuff. And the same approach can be used on the high frequencies to blur the image and give more clarity to another instrument. This can help to dull the transients and push an instrument further back in the mix. That's right, EQ can also be used for creating depth. Filter out the lows and highs to simulate distance, and for an even greater muffling effect, try cutting some presence around 2 to 4K. Transient Designer is another great tool for adjusting depth. Softening the attack can really help harsh, percussive sounds sit further back in the mix. Reverb is also another popular solution for depth, emulating the reflections of a room, giving us the impression that we have a room between us and the instrument. And while this can be a great solution, dense mixes can usually benefit from the subtractive method of filtering frequencies of an instrument that doesn't need to be the main focus. Sometimes it could be in the lows or the highs or in that presence area, but by having less than another sound, it will appear to be further away in comparison. Now, obviously panning is the main tool for width, but the perception of width is determined by differences between the left and right speaker. The Haas effect is a simple way to create some faux stereo width for a mono instrument. Simply delay one side 20 to 40 milliseconds to shift that side of the stereo image further away to give some stereo width. A little goes a long way. Using this technique on one key instrument can create a more interesting sound that catches the listener's attention. But excessive stereo width can ruin the mono compatibility of your mix because there's so much difference that's canceled out when it's summed to mono. If you have any other ways of playing with the dimensions of your mixes, let me know in the comments below. If you're at all curious of what I've been up to the last couple weeks, stick around, but if not, that's the end of the video, so thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and check out my Instagram for more content. So I've been doing a weekly audio engineering course in my local area on Sundays, so my weekly 10-minute video has become a 2-hour lecture. So it's been a lot to prepare to give my students the best possible experience. This course will transform these home studio musicians into critical thinking audio engineers with the skills to record, arrange, and mix their original music into strong, impactful demos for future gigs, festivals, and grant consideration. If you'd like to learn more about this course when it becomes available online, subscribe to the channel because you'll definitely hear more about it. And if you're super interested, you can reach out to me directly at robert@learnaudioengineering.com to get more details. Thank you for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.